All right, so I think this might actually be my very favorite section because what we're going to talk about here is diet. And so if you know me, you know I love my food. I'm like obsessive. It's sort of disgusting. I like joke that I have obsessive compulsive eating disorder, but I think I probably just had parasites. I don't know. I love food either way. And I will do another parasite cleanse soon. But when it comes to food, I think we also massively overcomplicate things. So there are a couple of key things I want you to focus on. I want you to focus on increasing the amount of whole foods. So first and foremost, we have this society where we focus on taking everything out. And so I'm not talking about the elimination diet. This is after the elimination diet. But I want you to focus on increasing the amount of whole foods, the amount of fruits, vegetables, high quality meats that you are putting into your diet. So instead of focusing on taking out everything, I want you to focus on adding in more and more good foods that are going to help you feel healthy and vital and have more energy and feel better and better. The more you start adding in those good foods, the less you're going to be eating the more processed foods because they're just going to stop tasting good. Trust me, it's a fact. It just happens over time. So focus on more whole foods. For me, what I do is I focus on everything in our house is organic for the most part. I'm pretty psychotic about that. But if I leave my house, fair game. You know, like I'm not going to go to McDonald's. I'm not crazy. But I am going to go eat the pork belly tacos down the road and drink a spicy mezcal marg. I want you guys to have the balance of sanity while also starting to build health and make better choices in your day-to-day life. So that's how I do it. I want you to find the way that works best for you. But there's got to be that balance, right? I feel like if I went out and was paranoid about everything I was eating, then that would be challenging. I don't go out that much. But where I'm home, you know, I make sure everything's really nice and clean. Anyway, that's my soapbox for that. The next thing I really want you to think about are the oils that you're cooking your food in and the fats that you are ingesting. So we really want to get rid of seed oils like canola oil. Those are really bad for you. But on top of it, we also want to make sure that we're cooking with foods that have a high smoke level. So I grew up cooking with olive oil. Olive oil is incredibly healthy in certain ways. Often olive oil is cut with canola oil, even when they say 100% olive oil. I believe if you just put the olive oil in the fridge or the freezer, you'll be able to tell if there's canola oil in there because it'll actually solidify. So that's a nice little hack to see how your olive oil is doing. But olive oil is great, but it's not great to cook with because it has a low smoke heat. So you'll see once you're heating up olive oil in a pan, it starts smoking. Once it starts smoking, that oil has then oxidized, and then it's not going to be good for your cell membranes, and it's going to cause inflammation within your body. So the oils that I recommend cooking with are tallow, coconut oil, or ghee. So tallow is beef, pig, chicken fat, whatever sort of fat you can. Coconut oil is pretty easy to find. It's pretty cheap. It's great to cook with. I use that whenever I'm cooking pancakes or any sort of veggies, roasting things. It's phenomenal. But I typically cook pretty much everything me and Remy eat in ghee. So ghee is clarified butter, and it doesn't have some of the inflammatory proteins that butter has in it. So even if you don't eat dairy like I do, it's something that you should be able to tolerate anyway. And so ghee also has a beautiful smoke point, so you can cook things really high, which I do a lot, and it's really, really healthy and beneficial for you. So those are really the main tips that I want you to focus on. I don't really care what diet you want to follow. There are benefits and challenges with each of them. You know, we've got the carnivore diet, which I sort of laughed at for a long time. But honestly, it seems to be very effective if somebody needs a dramatic reset in their immune response to different things. So it can be really helpful for some people. Is it something I'm going to recommend to most patients? Absolutely not. I typically won't recommend something that I won't do. The keto diet was developed for epilepsy, can be incredibly helpful for a number of neurological disorders. again, it's a challenging diet, particularly when it's done correctly. A lot of people, when they get on the keto diet, similar to when they get on a vegan or vegetarian diet, then lean heavily on these processed foods, which takes them away from health and the ideal that they're moving towards. So keto, again, if you're dealing with a severe neurological disorder, likely worth a try. But if not, then you might just want to increase the amount of fat in your food, decrease the amount of carbohydrates, because there's a lot of good research around that being beneficial for brain health as well. Whether you're a vegetarian or a vegan, I totally respect and understand that decision. Again, I just would like you to make sure that you're supplementing appropriately, because it's very important that you're getting some of those omegas, some of those B vitamins, and just making sure that you're really taking care of yourself with the blood builders. So those are my tips for today. Start adding in more good food. And that's it. I don't want you to overthink it. I don't want you to be hard on yourself. If you go out and eat some cake, then you went out and ate some cake. Like we're not in the perfectionist camp here. We're going to live our lives and we're going to move forward and build in health imperfectly together. Okay? Cool. Talk to you soon.